Hey everybody, it's Tanya Smith here of Get Noticed with Video, and today we're going to talk about a topic that will be very helpful for my newbies. It's all about apps to use for your streaming. So we're going to answer a question this evening. The question is, we have a question every week. What live stream apps should I be using as a newbie to live streaming? So I'm going to try to answer that question for you this evening. And again, I want to just say welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll share more in just a few minutes. Let me say hello to my friend Sherelle, and I will share a very quick video, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to give people a chance to come in and connect with us. We'll see you in just a few seconds. All right, everybody, again, welcome, welcome. I'm Tanya Smith, and this is Tuesday. This is when we go live. We do our weekly live stream show. And I love talking about practical strategies that you, as a service provider, can use to help you to build your social influence by using on camera and live video. So that's what we're working on this evening. I'm going to share a really quick set of tips that will be for my folks who are new to live streaming, because it is a common question that I get asked quite frequently. As a matter of fact, even twice in the last week or so. What is the best streaming app to start with? Because there are so many different options. And so we need to talk a little bit about that and be real. Be real. When you're new, you don't want to be messing around with a lot of complicated tools. You don't need to spend a whole ton of money, because you've got to get yourself in the game first and put yourself in a position where you're going to really truly commit to doing live streaming before you commit your pocketbook. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Before I do that, I absolutely, hearing myself. I absolutely have to say hello to my folks who are joining in. These are my people in my community at Get Noticed with Video VIPs. Hi, Marcia. And there is Miss Pam. Pam is watching from YouTube. So, Pam, you'll have to give me your thoughts, because what we're doing this evening is actually broadcasting in 1080 pixels through YouTube. So Facebook doesn't allow you to do that, but I wanted to test this out with StreamYard and upgrade to the 1080p to see how much more clear and clean it looks on YouTube. Now, on Facebook, the reason why it won't go to that level is because 720 is typically the maximum, the most optimal viewing that you can get. So it's not bad. And we can talk a little bit about that too, because as you know, if you're a member of my community and you've been following for some time, if you got questions during these live shows, I'm here to try to help you walk through them and answer them for you. So I'll make sure we leave some time for that. Let me say hello to Charvette. Hello, ma'am. Look at that beautiful pink. And let's see, I'm Sonia Michelle. Hello. Good to see you, lady. I got somebody from Periscope, and there's my Sonia Whiting Moore and Tanya and Alyssa. Oh my goodness, everybody. What is your Facebook? So I'll give you both. So my Facebook is at Get Noticed with Video. So if you go to facebook.com/ at Get Noticed with Video, you'll find me there. And you can join on into the conversation from there. On YouTube, I'm Tanya Smith. I got the name because I've had that YouTube channel forever. I just haven't maximized it and done what I needed to do, but I'm working on it. While I'm working on it and I'm figuring things out, I'm going to also be teaching and training, and I've got some updates to share with you about that too. So we'll be diving into that. But the reason why you're here this evening is our topic is on the 3 best apps right now for you to use as a newbie if you're trying to start live streaming. So I want to break down a couple of different streaming platforms that I think, this is my personal opinion, I think are the best if you're just starting out. And I want to talk a little bit about why, and I want to share with you some of the things that are pros and cons with each of those. So with each of our live streams on the weekly episodes that we do, there's always a focus. And usually I'll talk about 3 to 5 tips about something. So we'll probably be on for about 30 minutes and then we'll call it a wrap. There's my Stacy. Hey, girl. All right, so here's what we're going to do. First of all, let me share these two things that I sometimes forget, but I'm not going to forget tonight because I want to make sure to tell you. Again, we're at Get Noticed with Video VIPs if you want to join our community. All you've got to do to join this community is to make sure you answer the 3 questions that are going to pop up for you when you visit us on Facebook. The other thing that I'll share with you for those of you who never want to forget to be notified every single time I go live, just go to remind me or type in remind me if you want to get updates in Facebook Messenger or via text. And if you're on YouTube, it's super simple. Simply click on the bell. There's a little bell that's on the bottom right hand corner of your YouTube, and it'll tell you when I'm going live. All right, so let's talk about our 3 best platforms. I want to do that. And I'll also mention this because I almost forgot. For those of you in my community, I mentioned, hey, I'm going to show you the countdown timer that's in StreamYard. So in addition to the fact that StreamYard now allows you the option of being able to upgrade to go to 1080p, they also now have a countdown timer that's been built into your StreamYard assets. So your branded assets that you'll find inside of your dashboard, they have built and included a countdown timer. It's the first, but I suspect they're going to put more and give us more options as far as colors and appearance and all of that because, we like our stuff branded. I like my raspberry pink everywhere. So I want a little bit more branding. And I'm pretty sure that once they get past this little experiment to see how much it's used, we'll get more options. So that's just one of several different updates that they did recently. But let's talk about the questions or the question that we're trying to answer for tonight. So again, the question is, what live stream apps should I use as a newbie? And a lot of times, by the way, the questions that I get come from like real questions that people are posing to me, sending me over email, communicating through my Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or wherever. So if you've got questions that you want answered in a future live stream, feel free to send those to me by any way you choose to connect. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. So the very first thing that I want to answer is, why is this topic kind of relevant? I would say that it's relevant because as a new streamer, if you're new to live streaming, and let me separate because there are groups, okay, like with everything. So there are people who choose to become streamers and that's going to be their job and that's what they do. And maybe they want to be a vlogger or whatever it is. Those are not the people I'm talking about. There is another group of folks who are coaches, consultants, trainers, service providers who are sharing health and wellness, relationship, financial advice, whatever it may be. And so you are constantly marketing your services. And given the situation that we're in right now, you have probably recognized and realized, you know what, all that time that people were telling me I needed to do more video, I probably need to go ahead and jump on that right now because you're not able to be on a stage, a physical stage, or to be in front of people physically. So I'm talking about that second group of people like me who are coaches and consultants and trainers. And so for us, it's not our intention to become professional videographers. So we're not doing a bunch of fancy clips in the beginning and the ending and having it edited and all of that other stuff. What we're trying to do is to engage with real live people about our services, about our programs, our courses, and we're trying to serve more people through the engagement platform called video. So you're the ones that I'm talking to when it comes to these platforms I'm going to share with you. And I think that it's important for you to not be overwhelmed because what will happen, and I'll tell you what happened to me when I first decided to commit to doing more video. I said, hey, I'm going to do 1 or 2 videos a week. And I committed to that for over a year. When I did that and started reaching out for resources, what I was finding is that the people who were considering themselves to be video experts, and in most cases, not the ones that I really, really paid attention to later on down the road, But those initial ones who kind of stood out and I thought, okay, I'll pay for their services or pay for their program, they were teaching more complex and more complicated techniques and tools and strategies. And sometimes it wasn't even strategy, it was just, hey, here's how you use this technical piece of equipment. And so there were a lot of different options that were out there. OBS is one of the platforms that's very common. And I learned to use that. Basically, that's how I started streaming, is through OBS. It is a free platform, but it can be pretty complex to use because you have to figure out all the different settings that work perfectly with your webcam, with your audio. You've got a little bit of a learning curve there. So it can be time consuming and you can get a little frustrated trying to figure out how to put everything together. Once you get it together, it can work really well and give you some very high quality productions, even without knowing a bunch of stuff about videography and editing. But it can be complicated. And it did get a bit complicated to me. And as a coach, trainer, course facilitator, all of that, can you all hear me? Let me make sure I'm checking. No sound. Yeah, that's so weird. Can you hear me now? Let me know. I'm going to double check real quick in the group and see. It said my microphone was unplugged, but I haven't touched it. So that's weird. Let's switch up. Okay, we're switching our mic real quick here. Okay, yes, now. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened to sound. It is acting up. I'm Sonia Michelle. Yes, girl, it's a hot mess. So I probably did a lot of talking. I don't know where I lost the audio. So let me just wrap it up in this little nutshell line and say this. First of all, I'm going to pay attention to what you're writing because I wasn't doing that while I was talking, and that's always a mistake. But let me wrap this up in a nutshell. The nutshell version of what I just said is this. Don't get caught in the trap of going out and investing in a bunch of really complicated tools that are going to take forever for you to learn how to use. And they're going to suck up a lot of your money because not only are you going to have to invest in those platforms, but you also have to invest in some of the extras that go with that. So I don't want you to do that. If your focus should be on you providing those services to your clients and your customers. Your purpose in using video may be different from others that you're seeing out there. Your purpose may be to engage with more clients, to serve more people through your video, through your story, through your messaging, through your education. Okay. What you're educating them with and teaching them about and sharing with them and promoting in terms of action items, all of those things you can do with video without having to break the bank or without having to overwhelm yourself to the point of not doing anything. So hopefully you can, I'm so glad the sound is back. That's crazy. Okay, but anyway, that's a summary of all the stuff I said that you probably missed. Okay, so here are my 3 tips. These are my 3 tools that I would say really, really are key. and three platforms. Let me start with that. So the first platform is the native Facebook app itself. For those of you who recently attended the Let's Go Live challenge, and for those of you who also were in my Repurpose Your Live video bootcamp, you know this to be true, that there are ways that you can actually broadcast strictly through Facebook without having to worry about going to get any type of third-party software. So you literally can do that. So when I say native, that's what I mean, is that is a native or a built-in app. You can go live directly inside of Facebook, or you can go live directly inside of YouTube. So I'm going to focus primarily on Facebook because that's really where the core of my business is. But a lot of the stuff that I'm saying will apply when it comes to YouTube as well. Why is it important to look at Facebook as a potential option for you? Because it's free, because it's easy to use. It doesn't take a huge learning curve. Yes, you'll need to learn where the buttons are and where things go and all that other stuff and how to schedule it and get it, out there. But Facebook itself, the native platform, is an easy way for you to get started as a new person to live streaming without spending a ton of money. And it's still effective. So absolutely look at that. So you don't need a lot of expensive equipment or anything to that effect. You just need the tools you probably already have. If you've got your laptop with a webcam, go for it. See how it goes. This is before you actually are committing. Now, the con to this, so the pros are the things that I mentioned. The con to using native Facebook as your platform for streaming are that the quality is not the best. What I've seen and what I've heard from others who continue to use it, they have had some improvements, but it's not super high quality and there's just not a lot of features to it. But guess what? It'll do what it do. And if you decide you want to record from your phone, you can certainly do that. You just press go live and you're live without all the extra complications. So if part of your struggle has been that you have felt overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, use that to get started. Use that to get started. So that's platform number one, is just using native Facebook. Now, platform number two that I would recommend, if you're ready to do a next level, you're like, okay, baby steps, but I'm ready to go ahead and move on from the native platform, would be one that you are probably pretty darn familiar with because everybody's using this thing. Even those people who complained about it are back to using it, and that is Zoom. Some of you may know this, but Zoom can actually allow you, or does have the ability for you to be able to go live in your Facebook or your YouTube via Zoom. So, a couple of thoughts around that. It is an absolutely fine way to do your live streaming if you choose to. One of the reasons why it is it's a good thing, or it can be an advantage to you starting out, is that you may already be using it and you probably already have an account. Now, I don't know if you have a paid account, but if you do have a paid account, the basic subscription is somewhere around $15 a month. So it's fairly affordable. And even with that, at that level, you still have the ability to be able to use your Zoom like you have gotten used to. You just simply are going to add a little option, the option of doing the going live on Facebook or YouTube. You have to choose one or the other. I don't believe at this time you can multi-stream. So you have to choose one or the other. But when you're in Zoom, there's a couple of different things that are advantages. One, again, you're probably already paying for that. So get more use out of the platform. Two, it gives you some additional features such as the green screen option, which more and more people are learning about. If you don't know about that and other features that are inside of Zoom, shoot me an email at tanya@getnoticedwithvideo.com, and I'll send you a link to my Zoom class where I taught all the hidden features that people don't know about when it comes to Zoom. But again, you already have it. It's super affordable. It has a lot of extra features. It's not going to have like the little fancy stuff that you see that I'm using, like with comments and all of that other stuff. Yeah, and this is a great question. Is there one that's user friendly and offers a quality video? Yeah, Zoom would be user friendly for most people, Sonia, because if you're already using it, then you're comfortable with the buttons and you know where things go and you know how to get it started. You're just going to have to learn how to connect it to your Facebook page, right? In order to go live. But that is absolutely one option that will help you to budget. And it again will help you to learn how to become more committed to doing lives. Um, it's not the highest quality, but it is decent quality, right? The other thing that it gives you is the ability, if you're trying to do multiple people, because it's hard to do that with the native platform, it's real glitchy. If you do Zoom, you can have as many people as you want because what your people in Facebook are seeing when you go live from Zoom is whatever you have on the screen. So if you've got multiple people in a Zoom meeting or conference, they can see those faces and hear the audio that you allow to come through. Now, some of the things I think that would be disadvantages to using Zoom would be, again, that it's probably not the absolute top of the line quality. It doesn't have all the extra fun features for branding yet, although there are some things that are coming that will help with that, I think. It also, in my opinion, can get a little glitchy. Like I've used it in the past, I've used Zoom in the past to do lives, and I found that it is not always the most reliable. Like sometimes it will disconnect and sometimes it'll connect. But hey, you just saw my audio disconnected a little bit ago. I've never had that happen where I am with the platform I'm going to share with you next. So Zoom does have its pros and it also has some of the cons. One of the cons that I would share with you that I think they've cleaned up a bit would be the whole idea of the security issues that were taking place that a lot of people were talking about before. That pretty much can be taken care of if you put the right, um, if you turn on the right features for your Zoom. Okay. So, for instance, you want to make sure if you're going to allow people to join you inside of Zoom and not just watch from your Facebook or from your YouTube, depending on where what you've chosen, if you're going to do that, you need to make sure that you have them knock. So they need to be required to knock first. You need to get a notification and then be able to admit them, meaning that you're using something called the waiting room in Zoom. What you don't want is for people to pop up into your Zoom screen or your feed while you're going live and you haven't controlled that. Okay. So put all those security features in place to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you're protecting your audience. Why do I know this? Because I used to stream like really, really live, like meaning I would use OBS along with some other tools. I won't get into those for sake of time, but I would have real live chat rolling, scrolling. And some of you remember this situation where I had somebody popping up some really funky, raunchy stuff on my feed, and I had to hurry up and try to get rid of it because it was already like on the screen. So those are the types of things that I want to make sure that you watch for. So, oh, I've got someone, Stellar Marketing and Business Solutions. It's Tracy from West Palm Beach. What's up, Florida? I have Zoom issues seeing whether I am live or not. Yes, so that's another thing too. When you go on Zoom and you're going live, there should be an alert at the top left of your screen that tells you that you are live. But I remember when I used Zoom for that purpose, for the purpose of going live, and here's how I would use it, because this is a use case that you might see for yourself. I use Zoom when I wanted to kind of have the best of both worlds in my Facebook group. So I wanted to broadcast into the group live, but also have the ability to be able to talk to the people who wanted to be in the room with me, right? So they would join in on Zoom and they would participate in the chat on Zoom. And then I'd be trying to multitask between the chat on Zoom, the Facebook live chats, and the people that wanted to raise their hand with questions and all of that. And sometimes it would get a little glitchy. Like I couldn't tell, am I live? Am I not live? And sometimes it would go live. And other times I'd just be talking to the people who were in the room and the folks that were waiting in the group couldn't see us. So all of that to say, absolutely, Tracy, sometimes it gets a little glitchy. And so I'm saying that Zoom is an option because I think for a new person starting out, if one of the things that's a concern to you is that you don't want to overdo things, you want to keep things simple, and you're already paying for the Zoom app, then I think that you have to look for ways to do that. So native platform would be the first choice starting out, and just use your phone or whatever. Your phone, your iPad, your laptop computer can work just as well. But if you're wanting to go to the next level and you want to leverage something, Zoom can be an option. And yes, Charvette, it can definitely be a lot to juggle when you have multiple tools that you're trying to use. So that brings me to my third. And my third option or platform that I would definitely recommend, and this again is as a newbie starting out, because I mentioned things like vMix, and there are other tools that are out there. Restream.io is also another platform. Um, all of these things, they have their quirks, and I've talked about Restream, and we can talk about that again at a future event, because I know that they're making really quick upgrades. And so that would probably be my like 3.5. But my third platform that I would recommend to you starting out is the one I'm using right now, which is StreamYard. And let me tell you why I think StreamYard is effective. StreamYard is effective because first of all, it's clean. Like, it's real clean. And what I mean by that is, you just saw Charvette's note saying that's a lot. And Sonia's asking, what streaming app are you using? I am using StreamYard. So here's why I think that that's important. And I'm going to put my little, let me do this so I can make sure that you have it. Um, Here's my actual affiliate link if you want to test it out. StreamYard is what I'm using, and here's why I think this would be the most effective. If you're starting out, you want something easy to use that is feature rich. Let me back that up. That is feature rich, that gives you options like what you're seeing now, like these fun banners that are branded. I can put up my overlay that has get noticed with video on the top. You see my name. All of those things you can have inside of StreamYard. StreamYard is super easy to learn how to use. So there's not this whole complicated book or instruction manual that you have to read. Okay. Sorry, I just had a little bit of a distraction for a second there. But there's not a whole instruction manual that you got to read or go through. Literally, when you get onto StreamYard, you can start streaming in probably the next 30 minutes. If you just you find your way around, click on the buttons, and you get in there and really go. I'm going to be teaching a tutorial because I have heard from some of my community members that they want to know more about the features. Like, they really, really, really want to make the most effective use of it. But yes, it is clean. It's super clean. So notice, yes, and Alyssa just started using it and loves it. And Charvette says her favorite is StreamYard. And I will tell y'all, I actually used a lot of other different types of platforms before this, like I mentioned. I know how, because I was a web designer and I have a really hefty technical background, so I can figure out all those other things. But what the beauty of StreamYard is that it doesn't matter what level of video streaming you're at, you can use it and look like a pro. So the features that I love the most are the fact that I'm able to share the comments with ease. I can pick and choose comments, so I don't have the fiasco with the guy that had a picture of a cactus and made some comments. I won't share exactly what they were. I don't have to pop that up. If that shows up in my comments, I can quickly get rid of that and block him and not ever show that to you on screen. But I can show the people who I enjoy showing and the ones who have these questions, right? So all of this is the comments, the banners. So you saw the banner where I showed how to access StreamYard, tanya.click/StreamYard. I can put up the different message points, the tips that I shared tonight. I can put each of those up to do a quick recap. That's what I usually do. I just ran out of time today and didn't do it. I can even share my screen, which I'll do in a second because I want to showcase some things for you that are coming up. But there are so many different ways that you can use a tool like this. It allows you as well to multicast to different platforms. So right now I am multicasting to 4 different areas. I'm broadcasting to Facebook, to my Facebook group, to my business page, to my YouTube account, to Twitter through Periscope. So there's lots and lots of different options. It also gives you the green screen function that I mentioned that happens in Zoom. So the same backgrounds that maybe you've purchased or you've been using in your Zoom, you can now pull those over into your StreamYard. You can add video clips. So you saw my intro, you saw the countdown timer at the beginning. All of these things make it an effective way for you to stream as a new person and still look like a pro. Now, do you need to learn how to navigate and multitask a bit? Yeah, but it's not to the level that we're talking about with some of the other tools I mentioned. If I were to think of any type of disadvantage to StreamYard, it probably would be just that it's a monthly subscription. Yeah, I mean, because they do have a free version of it. And so you want to think about whether or not free would be apt for you. But if it's not, they do have a couple of different versions or levels that you can purchase in. Oh, yeah, thank you. Signing up tonight right on time. Awesome sauce. Yes, I am loving it. And honestly, at first, I didn't get it. And somebody in that group may tell you that when I first saw StreamYard, because I was using some of the other funkier stuff, the snob video marketing snobs were using. And so I actually went over, I didn't mean to, but I was responding to somebody's post and I didn't know they were inside the StreamYard community and they were talking about it. And I was like, I just don't get it. And now I'm up here using this thing. It's crazy. I just upgraded to pay and can't wait to use it. Yes, ma'am. So for those of you who actually want to really learn how to use it, like to really dig in and learn how to pull in the different branded video snippets and all kinds of other fun stuff, I'm going to be doing a class on that. So let me make sure I pull that class up for you. I'll roll that at the bottom here. It's at getnoticedwithvideo.com/StreamYard class. So you can sign up for the webinar at the end of this month. It's August 28th. Now, let me show you my screen share because I do want to share this before we wrap. There is something that I'm working on in time for my birthday. My birthday is in September. As a matter of fact, all the girls in my house, we all are September birthdays. So it's a big month where we celebrate and we do different things to celebrate. And this year is going to be a little different because of COVID, but hey, whatever, we're going to make it work. One of the ways that I want to celebrate is by launching my upgraded learning center. So I want to show you what this is going to look like. And this will also give me a way to show you the share screen function. Now, when I share my screen, there's something important that I want you to understand about this. Sharing my screen means that there's 2 things. So for those of you who don't get this, one thing, and there's too much going on for me, so I'm going to stop that. One thing that I appreciated learning, and this will be a bonus tip for you. I learned this as a result of doing all the complicated platforms. When you share your screen, it's easier if you have 2 monitors. Okay. So I usually teach that in my advanced class, but I just want to mention that to you. So if you're wondering, like, how do you make that happen and not be, confused? One thing that you can do or think about if you're serious about doing video streaming and you're serious about doing video like every week, you've committed to that, is to consider getting 2 screens if you're going to be screen sharing. And again, because I'm talking to coaches, consultants, trainers, service providers, etc. For us, we typically have a teaching component to what we do. And so screen sharing is part of that. So I am creating a brand new learning center where I am going to be actually hosting all of my courses on this platform. And all of these courses are specifically about a video topic. So we're going to talk about, we just did repurpose your live video, and I use this platform. Our Let's Go Live challenge will probably at some point be moving to this platform. video in the customer journey. The one I'm really excited about is called Getting Started with Video. This is going to be for my brand new folks who know nothing, and you're like, hey, give me a plan, give me a track to run on, help me to figure this out. So these are courses that I'm putting together. Many of them will be hybrid courses because I love not only just putting the on-demand lessons out there, but also giving you some of me so that I can answer questions in a live setting. So just know that that's coming. And again, you can see how I've used this. So note that right there. I just blew it up. I'm taking it down. All of this is done right here inside of StreamYard. That is another benefit to using StreamYard. Yes, ma'am. Sign up for the class. Yay. Yay. Sonia. All right. I'm super excited y'all are coming. So we're going to play for 90 minutes and we're going to figure out the best tips and the ways that you can really dive in and leverage StreamYard. But I'm really excited about that. So let's recap before we get ready to end. And if you have questions related to video, feel free to put those in here because I'm scanning through them before we wrap. I want to make sure to try to cover your questions. If there's something I miss and you're watching the replay, type in hashtag replay and just put your question there so I can make sure to come back and find you. One of the things that I will do at the end of every live stream episode that we do is we recap. So I want to do that for you right now. And then I got to start getting ready to pack, y'all, because I'm delivering my eldest child, to college tomorrow. Oh. So I'm going to get a little emotional after this, but I'm going to wait until we're done to do that. Okay, so recap. The 3 platforms. The first is the native Facebook platform or native YouTube platform, because you can literally go live from your phone, not get frustrated, not have a whole bunch of equipment and other tools. You just click the button and go. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Zoom. If you're already using Zoom, that can be an option for you. Absolutely, you want to think about the flow and you want to think about what are the features that I definitely want to use as I'm going live so that you don't make it too complex when you're using Zoom. The third and final one would be StreamYard, which is what I'm using right now to deliver this episode. And it's frankly what I've been using for a while now. So let's see, a couple of questions. Thank you on the congrats. Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm also a little nervous right now. So I just need prayers. For those of you who are prayer warriors, please send them. What camera am I using? So I am using a Canon DSLR, and mine is actually an older Canon. There are some newer ones that I'm understanding are really nice. I have the T6i, so it's a few years old, but it works fine. And it gives me the quality that I like. Now, before I used a DSLR camera, which is basically a camera that you can take and shoot. I used to use it to shoot all the soccer pictures and videos and stuff that I was taking for my kids. What I use it for now primarily is for going live. And before I started using that, I was using a Logitech C922 Pro. You can find the Logitech C922 Pro on Amazon. If you want, you can go to getnoticedwithvideo.com, my main website, /gear, and you'll see any recommended apps and tools that you might want, Tracy. So definitely check that out. Thank you for the congrats. Yes, ma'am. We are in the same boat, Sonia. I know. So we're just going to commiserate together on that this week. But we're also going to be just lifting them up because they're going to be fine. That's what we're going to send them, is we're sending them with positive thoughts. All right. Perfect. Got it. Okay. So if there are no other questions, and I don't see any right now, I think it's time for us to wrap. But I want to let you know how much I appreciate you. I hope that I will see you soon for our next training webinar. So again, it's going to be a StreamYard tutorial. I cannot wait to deliver that content at the end of this month on the 28th. We're also going to be doing our next Let's Go Live challenge. We've got our community chat. We've got stuff happening in August. So if you are on my email list, you got a list today of the calendar of what we're going to be talking about. If you're inside of my Facebook community, and I'll show that one more time, then you'll also see our calendar at the very top of the page because we shared that either yesterday or today. But get noticed with video VIPs. So join the community, stay connected, find out what's going on and what you can get your hands into so that you can learn how to leverage more video as the professional you are, and not so much to become a professional videographer. We need to get easy, practical, quick ways to actually leverage more video. That's what I want to help you do. All right, everybody, have an amazing rest of the week. And thank you so much for your time tonight. Take care. I'm double checking for one more question. I see some. Thank you so much. Great content. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, everyone. Have a good night. I think that's really a wrap. See ya.